Have you ever wished you could just snap your fingers and instantly nail that tricky phrase you've been practicing for weeks? Well, there is a science-based practice method that helps you improve up to 5 times faster. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what this secret is and how it can take your playing to the next level, even if you've been stuck for years. Here's the easiest way to think about it. Have you ever tried practicing music while you're half asleep? If you can barely keep your eyes open, then you know you're not going to make much progress. So why settle for practicing at your worst when you could practice at your sharpest when you're wide awake? Well, the crazy thing is that wide awake is just the beginning. There's a state called flow that's like flipping a turbo switch in your brain. And studies show you can be up to 5 times more productive. That means 1 hour in flow can be worth 5 hours of regular practice. And flow isn't just productive, it's flat out fun. When you're in the zone, practice feels effortless. The time flies by in a pleasurable rush, and you hit notes you didn't think possible. But how can learning really be 5 times faster? Flow isn't some practice trick. It's a real biological state. Your brain's prefrontal cortex quiets down, shutting off self-doubt, and other networks light up, putting you in deep focus and boosting your ability to learn new skills. A rush of powerful neurochemicals fires up your concentration, motivation, and memory, so you literally become a learning machine. It's like getting a free legal shot of performance-enhancing drugs. So if you wouldn't practice when you're exhausted, why practice outside of flow when you have a choice? Because you see, the flow state is available to everyone. The trick is knowing how to invite it in. And now, while there's no way to guarantee flow every single time, there are simple things you can do to make it much more likely. And they'll improve the quality of your practice sessions, whether you get into flow or not. They're quick and easy, so you've got nothing to lose. Scientists have found 9 flow triggers, but just 3 are the most important. Simple levers you can pull before every practice. Plus, there's 1 extra action to help you flip the switch and actually jump into flow once you're ready. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what each lever is and how you can use it to transform your own practice. But here's the thing. This only works if you use it before each practice session. That's why I've created a simple checklist with all 3 levers and a switch. Print it out or keep it on your phone and use it before every session. Grab it at the link below and let's make every practice your best ever. Now, what are these 3 levers? Let's break them down step by step. Lever number 1 is get into the flow channel. Imagine you're picking a video game level. Too easy? You breeze through and get bored. Too hard? You get crushed and want to quit. The real fun and growth happens when you're just slightly out of your comfort zone, where you're stretched, but you know victory is possible. That's the flow channel. This graph shows it. One axis is your skill, the other is the challenge. Go too high and you're overwhelmed. Anxiety floods in. Drop too low and boredom takes over. But in the middle, in the sweet spot, is where flow happens. Here, you're challenged just enough to stay focused and excited, but not so much that you snap. So how do you get there? The trick is to set challenges just a tad beyond your current skills. You can make them with a bit of struggle, but it's not easy. And here's a key point. It's not about the objective difficulty. It's about how you perceive the difficulty. So if you imagine the challenge is greater than it really is, or you underestimate your skills, you'll miss out on flow. And sadly, I see lots of musicians who destroy their chances of tapping into this accelerated learning state because they doubt themselves. So consider going a bit easier on yourself. You'll improve faster as a result. And of course, if you are one of the few delusional, massively overconfident musicians, then what are you doing here anyway? You know it all already, so sod off and stop wasting your time watching this video. But once you've checked you're assessing the situation accurately, then here's how to use the challenge skills balance to your advantage. Remember that you're always the one in control of the dial. Turn it up or down as needed to keep yourself in the zone. For example, if you're finding a passage too tough, break it into smaller chunks and slow it down. Bang! Suddenly, you're right back in the sweet spot. But what if you need to really bed something in? Surely playing it slowly enough to guarantee perfection every time will make it too easy and land you back in the boring zone. Well, not if you add the right sort of twist. Ask yourself, what happens if I try and get into every fine detail of the dynamics, or all the articulations, or the perfect tone? Just like that, you've raised the bar again. And remember, this isn't a one-time adjustment. Keep tweaking the challenge as you go, so you're always learning at top speed and giving yourself the best shot at getting into flow. Next, let's look at the second lever that makes flow even more likely. Lever number 2 is to use micro goals. Another non-negotiable is having crystal clear goals and feedback. Real-time monitoring of where you're falling short and what needs adjusting is one of the requirements for flow. And this means you can't just beaver away practicing something or other where it's all a bit vague. Set a specific target for each exercise and make sure you can answer the question, did I do it? With a simple yes or no. No guessing, no rating out of 10, just clear objective results. But don't just set up a feedback system and then ignore it. I see students do this all the time. They make a great plan at the start of a session, pat themselves on the back for being organised, and then they fail to actually adjust based on what the feedback tells them. That, unfortunately, is useless. Pause and reflect for a second after each rep. Did you hit your target? If yes, go again. If not, then plan how to course correct. And remember, part of your feedback loop is checking whether you're still in the sweet spot for the challenge skills balance, and adjust that on the fly if you need to. Now, micro goals and real-time feedback massively boost your chances of getting into flow. And even if you don't get there every time, they still help you practice way more effectively. But there's one last ingredient. You can have everything else in place, but if you're missing this, you'll never get into flow. So let's dive into that next. Lever number 3 is acceptance over perfection. Have you ever tried so hard to get into the zone that you just ended up frustrated? That's the flow paradox. Chasing it desperately actually pushes it further away. Flow is a state of acceptance, not struggle. You've got to set the stage, put the right conditions in place, and then let go of the outcome. Whether flow shows up today or not, you're okay with that. And paradoxically, that's what actually gives you your best shot of finding yourself in flow. Now, that said, you don't have to sit around twiddling your thumbs, hoping flow will show up at some unknown time in the future. There is a way to deliberately flip the switch. Think of it like starting a fire. You could rub sticks together for hours and eventually get a spark. But if you've already got a glowing ember, then lighting the fire is quick and easy. Now, your ember here is the memory of a time when you were in flow before. So before you start practicing, recall a moment when you felt completely in the zone, fully absorbed, playing or practicing with freedom and joy. Now, you're not aiming to repeat a perfect performance, just to remember the feeling. And then set an intention to feel that way again. Then let it go and dive into your practice. You've just given yourself the best possible spot. Of course, this only works if you use it regularly. So to make this really easy, I've created a quick checklist you can use before every practice session. Just print it out and stick it to your music stand or keep it on your phone. Click the link below to grab it and check off each step before you play. It only takes a few seconds, but it could mean you learn 5 times as much from every session. So it's really worth taking the tiny bit of effort to use the checklist. And even when you're improving faster than ever before, you still need to make sure that you deliver your best performance on the day. So watch this video next, where I'll show you the one habit that gets you performing like a pro every time.